Hi everyone, you'll have to excuse the raindrops falling all over the car if you can hear them on the audio. Nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. I can't control the weather. In any case, we'll crack on with today's video. Lorries are the heaviest vehicles that we have on our roads, and that means they can obviously do the most damage. The hierarchy of road users in the highway code states that lorry drivers have the most responsibility, and this is because the risk they pose to others. In today's video, we're going to be looking at two incidents that have been sent that I believe both drivers use their vehicles to intimidate more vulnerable road users. This first clip happened near Norwich in the east of England, and it was actually on the A11. And if we have a look at the road, it is a major carriageway. But at this point, there's only one lane because of the roadworks. And when we get to the clip in a moment, this section is a temporary 40 miles an hour limit, and that's what the driver of the Mini was sticking to. When I roll the clip on, you should be able to make out that the driver of the Mini is just finishing their lane change back to lane 1. And I think they've been holding this lorry driver up.
Plenty of greens, whole grains.
I'll just let you watch the clip the first time.
Especially in processed stock. Also avoid too many starches from potatoes, white rice or white pasta. Pre-packaged and canned soups have none of the benefits of real vegetables. Heinz vegetable soup contains nearly 10 grams of sugar and only 2.7 grams of fibre, with almost a third of our daily salt intake. Cuppa soup is passed as healthy on the label in terms of fats and sugar, but is high.
Exiting average speed check zone.
And lists over 15 ingredients, including monosodium glutamate and emulsifiers.
I did get in touch with the company that this lorry belongs to, and I sent them the footage to see what they made of it and whether or not that they would like to make a statement for this video. They told me that they would take this incident seriously and would be talking to the driver, but I also got a call from their PR department who tried their best to convince me not to use this video. When I told them this wasn't going to happen, they didn't reply to any further correspondence. Now, let's have a closer look and see exactly what happened. Although the Mini has just moved back to lane 1, with these markings here being solid, I know they're painted poorly. It should have waited a little touch further up the road until the lines were broken before moving back. And although I'm only surmising because we haven't got any footage before this point, I think it was probably because the lorry driver was pressurising the Mini driver to go faster. Other than crossing the solid line like we've discussed, the driver of the Mini seems to follow the rules nicely. They even wait till they pass this national speed limit sign before starting their overtake. And then for some unknown reason the lorry driver does this. There was no way of knowing what the driver of the Mini was going to do in that situation. They could have completely panicked and ended up into the central reservation or into the side of the lorry. Quite simply, this driver put lives at risk. This next clip happened just outside Manchester, on the M60, which is the Manchester Ring Road. And this section of motorway is busy whatever time of day that you tackle it. But that's no excuses for what this lorry driver did. There are many junctions on and off this section of motorway, and it's at a junction a little touch further up that this incident happens. If we look at the speed in the bottom right hand corner, my viewer's obviously doing more than the lorry is allowed to. That's why the gap is obviously growing. But this changes a little touch further, and if we watch closely the speed starts to slow. Is there a queue ahead? And if there is it for a junction? And when the speedo drops below 55 miles per hour, that's when the lorry driver is going to be catching my viewer, which is obviously happening now. We've all seen people leave it late to get to the left lane to exit a motorway, and it can be especially annoying for the lorry drivers. And this is all that goes on here, and it's this vehicle now. But even before it moves across, the lorry's already on the way out to lane 2, and they don't like this. Everything I said about the first clip in this clip still stands, but this is a lot worse in my opinion. What do you think? I also got in touch with this company, and when I explained to them what had been sent, they told me that I didn't have permission to use this video, and then they put the phone down. I did call them back and I asked to speak to one of the directors instead of the lady who I initially spoke to. but they didn't return my call. I've decided to blur both of these clips out showing the company details because of what has happened in previous clips that I've shown. I've thought long and hard over this. Because of the poor reaction of the first company and the awful reaction from the second, I'll definitely send the finished video to both companies, explaining how close they came to possibly being ruined. I also think this is the best approach going forward. Thanks a lot for tuning in and your continued support in making our roads a little bit safer.